Everyone, I'll call to order the December 9th, 2025 Town Council meeting to order at 7 p.m. If you could all please stand for pledge of allegiance and understand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So that brings us to proclamations and presentations. We have one citation tonight, which you can probably tell by the large attendance we have with us. So thank you all for coming tonight. I'll read portions of this, and then I'll ask you guys, we can maybe take a picture with the council and present this to you. So it's good to have you back again this year. So honoring the Tolland High School boys soccer team on winning the state title for the 2025 season. The 2025 Tolland High School boys varsity soccer team was led by Coach Michael Kokomo and assistant coaches Brian Aston and Ryan Soroy. The 2025 Tolland High School boys soccer team completed a truly historic season, capturing back-to-back Class M state championships, marking the program's fourth state title and becoming the first Class M team in the Central Connecticut Conference history to win the tournament. They also secured the CCC North Division co-championship and made conference history as the first team ever to win both the league state tournaments in the same year. Finishing with a record-setting 21-3 overall mark, the Eagles posted the most single-season victory in full history, scored a program-best 83 goals, tallied 13 shutouts, and outscored state tournament opponents 26-4. Unanimously ranked number one in Class MS all season, Tolland spent the entire year in Connecticut's top 10 per the New England Soccer Journal and ultimately finished number 2 in the state and number 52 nationally as ranked by the Max Preps. The team featured 15 different goal scorers, allowed more than 2 goals only once, and earned numerous individual honors, including all conference selections for Andrew Chatter, Reed Babcock, Jack Dorfler, and Jackson Silvey, and Jonathan all-state recognition for Chatter and Babcock and senior bowl selections for both standouts. The town council would like to recognize the hard work and dedication of the coaches, team members, families, and everyone involved who helped contribute to such a successful season. Now, therefore, I, Chris Moran, on behalf of the citizens of Tolland, honor and recognize the 2025 Tolland High School boys varsity soccer team. In witness hereof, I am here to set my hand and cause the field of the town of Tolland to be affixed on the 9th day of December, 2025. So congratulations, guys. I did you a picture in here?
Sure, it's maybe over on the table.
Oh, yeah. If anyone wants to say anything, please feel free. Marks, Council Bisa.
I just want to express we're so proud of you guys, and it's so much hard work, and to do this, a couple of years in a row, and just all the accomplishments, and just so proud to be here tonight and to celebrate you.
Thank you. You're here.
Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, congratulations.
First, congratulations. One, you guys have set the bar. I mean, you set it real high. So now everybody's gonna chase your bar. So that's special, right? Back to back. I wish you all the best on all your endeavors, all the seniors. It's a good way to end your career as a high school athlete. But for everybody, hope you continue to push, and congratulations. It's it exemplifies Tolland strong. You guys are right. Thank you. Congrats.
Thank you for continuing to put Tolland on the map and shedding a lot of good light on the town. So we really appreciate it. So what do you think?
Picture
out there.
We did it here last year.
Okay. You guys want to come up?
Get in there, guys.
So, watching you guys go over on the side over here. Good, how are you? Yeah. I'll see you. Oh. Sorry. Right.
Good work.
Congratulations, guys.
Congrats.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted to say we brought the plaque to present and show you guys. It'll go in our trophy case, the high school next to last year's plaque. And on behalf of the program, we wanted to present this to Mr. Foley, the accomplishments, the team,
Well, this is for council, but yes, thank you.
Council, sure.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. And thank you guys for the escort. You
Oh, no worries.
guys took care of us really well, so I mean, it's the least that we could do to put in the effort to make you guys.
Thanks, boys. It was a lot of fun. I went to the game. As many may have saw, who knows, but good times.
He's right behind the bench when you guys scored the goal and ran. We were right there, so.
Good time.
But no, thank you guys for your support. Really, these guys they do all the work, and that's why we give all them the credit. But obviously, it's a motivation for them to do this and make you guys proud. So it really comes down to that.
The girls in the mid-'80s put up some pretty good numbers too, just so you know. I'm sure you've heard 3 championships in 4 years, so let's get another one there. You guys will level it out a little bit.
We'll work towards it. We got the squad to do it. So
Go get it.
thank you guys.
All right.
We appreciate it. Thank you, Coach, for
Thank you.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys. Yeah, you're welcome to stay, or you're welcome.
I didn't even do it, so you gotta stay for a while.
We must leave now.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
That's the time I.
I got Jen and
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Oh, did he?
So that brings us to item 5, public petitions, communications, and public participation on any subject within the jurisdiction of council, with a 3-minute limit. We'll start in the room. And I'll go online. If you'd like to speak, please raise your Zoom hand. Seeing none, I'll go back to the room.
Thank you, Mary. Lisa Lynn. Once again, Tolland High School student. The school system hired a nurse this past, or hired a new nurse. And they're now, I think they're full-time, but they're not full-time at the high school. They split responsibility between Birch Grove and the high school. So that means that there's still gap in coverage during the school day. And like I've said so many times before, that is completely unacceptable. That if the nurse has to be in a 504 meeting, which they legally have to be, and they can't leave without the parent agreeing to close out the meeting, that the nurse is considered the secondary line of support there, not a primary. So if there's a medical emergency, which isn't that uncommon in the school, there is almost 1,000 people packed in the building under a high stress environment. It's bound to happen sometime. And when that happens, sometimes a teacher just has to deal with it. And yes, they're trained in first aid, but they're not trained in like, they're not like graduated and certified as a nurse. So like, would you want any of your kids to have to go to an environment where they would they had a medical emergency, they just couldn't get covered by the person that's supposed to because they're not available at that time. And that's a consequence of the budget that the town council approved last year, or the town council forwarded to referendum, which passed, which isn't entirely on you. It's the town, all of us in the town. But keep in mind of the fact that there's safety issues when lowering the school budget. Cause like, you don't want someone to have a seizure and not get emergency help until the paramedics get there. You'd rather the person on scene that is supposed to be there to cover. And that's why the school needs 2 nurses. And there has to be one register, like one RN and one LPN. And the LPN is like an aide, and they would be able to do that. And it's better now, but it's still like bad. That could be an event of emergency, and there's no help. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I will go online. If anyone would like to participate, please raise your Zoom hand. I'll go back to the room for one final time. Back online for a final call. And seeing none, that will close out public participation, public petitions of public participation, which brings us to public hearing items, of which there are none. And then reports of boards and committees responsible to the council. Merrily, I'll start with Firehouse Subcommittee if there's any updates.
We did have a special meeting, and we did approve the bid documents for the masonry project. That moving forward, it was the documents were, I believe, put out, and we're in bid.
Yeah, last Thursday.
Yeah, we're in bid, so we hopefully going to be getting some responses, and we have a regular meeting coming up later in December.
Great, thank you. Brian, anything on contaminated wells?
Yeah, the Deep held their hearing, basically on how they're gonna administer the grant near the, public library last night, well attended. And Eastern Highlands was there as well. I was very happy to see, that Robert came to support it as well. So, basically wish the state was providing, more money is the outcome for it. And of course, I would like to see legislation on water softeners in the future, but I'll work to that. That was not a part of last night's meeting. I did meet with, while I'm on it, if I can jump around to a couple here, ECHIP. The state rates for health insurance have gone up probably for towns like Tolland and they are in this region about 16%, which some of the towns that were looking to jump ship out of ECHIP, that might scare them back into ECHIP. It's a positive sign. We're just guessing. I did meet with Walt on that today as well. We're just kind of, it's difficult to predict. We have a meeting in January. We're going back and forth with Seth from Lockton is keeping an eye on things for us as well. And CCM had their annual meeting. The important thing in my mind is we as town CEOs from around the state vote on where they'll direct their legislative attention, and it's just a bevy of ideas across so many different topics. You can only vote for 3. 2 of the ones I voted for were centered around educational funding, special education funding for the towns, and the other one was around trash recycling. Were the 2 that I voted for. So those were the biggest cost drivers for us and most important therefore in my estimation. That's it.
Do you know, or either have you heard or did they talk about it last night on the contaminated wells as far as like a plan to roll out the grant money that they have in the vineyards, or did they not get into that?
I don't think it was finalized. It was more communication last night. I talked to Mike about it this morning, and the long and short of it is the less money they spend, the more money the more residents they can assist or the more money they spend, the less money, or the less they can assist residents.
Okay. And we don't really have, again, I know that they control sort of the timeline around that because they're managing the funds. We don't really, do we have any better sense for what they expect?
I don't want to dare predict.
Thank you. I don't think that's any other boards that are directly responsible. So that'll bring us to reports of town council liaisons. I'll just run around the room. Councilor, do you have anything?
I'm planning a zoning meeting last night. There was an open public hearing, so I want to encourage everybody to take a look at what is going on there in the recording, in the minutes, and also they were working on their goals as well. And I told them we would be working on ours. And I have not yet attended my first meeting with the persons, the Commission on Disabilities, Persons with Disabilities. That is coming up on December 18th.
Councilor Wells, anything?
Yes, EDC meeting, last week. There was some conversation about the banking card, Cardio Express location. And some talk about reaching out to Anytime Fitness, the corporate, and having some kind of dialogue about when franchisees come in, kind of streaming them to Tolland. So there was some talks about reaching out to the property owner as well. They did talk about the EDC plan and who was responsible for what, because it's a very long, extensive plan and whose responsibilities. So they went over responsibilities, went over a tax abatement program that they want to incentivize commercial entities coming into town, talked about the subdivision public hearing. Santini has 2 permits pulled, so that's moving along well. College View changed ownership officially. It did. There's an LLC out of Glastonbury that officially owns it on record now. So there wasn't much update other than it officially changed ownership and something's going to happen over there. And that was about it. We adjourned at 7:16.
Great, thank you. Councilor Buckler?
Nothing, DCT meets this Thursday, they did an excellent job with that training.
Councilor Brady?
The Board of Ed met last week on December 3rd. Their legal counsel gave a presentation on board member roles and responsibilities, after which the board began its board goal and superintendent goal setting process. They also approved their 2026-2027 academic calendar, which is now on the public schools website as well as on Facebook. And they honored the town board's opportunity.
Anything else, Lisa?
My meetings have not come up yet, although I did go to the contaminated wells meeting
Great.
last night.
Awesome, thank you. And I also don't have anything to report. The Historic District Commission meets next week. And I haven't had anything else since our last meeting, so. Oh, Joe. Oh, sorry, Joe. Yeah, I see you there. Anything you have to report?
Yeah, no, Chris, nothing at this time. Thanks.
All right, thank you. So that brings us to item 8.1, consideration of a resolution for a supplemental appropriation to $4,816.23 for the new Parks Garage on Siren Mill Road. The funds would be transferred to the Public Works Contingency account. Forward.
Thanks. So as you know, with through ARPA funding, we built the parks facility. We had a contingency account. We had touted that we had done this within budget at $1.2 million. We do look like it's going to go over $4,800. We do have the money in our Public Works contingency account to do that. This is out of an abundance of transparency to run this through council. Charter section 9-14 allows for this type of transfer of money through resolution. My finance director and our grants director are both here if you have any questions. Linda, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I think we did talk to DPW director and he proposed this account. This account has been running the available budget in the past few years, and DPW is ending fiscal year with the surplus. So I think it's definitely a good option right now, as we don't see any surpluses in other projects.
And can I add one more thing? This is not a fancy flooring. It's nothing, high-end carpeting. This is basic vinyl flooring installed by DPW.
Thank you. Questions from council members?
That's how much is in the contingency? What is contingency? If we're talking about pulling money from the account, how much is in the account?
I can answer that question. $30,000. $30,000.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Welcome.
Other questions? Oh, sorry, Councilor Bisa.
Yeah, just, this says it has an available balance of 25,000 on
Correct.
1125, so we got 5,000 more along the way.
So we used 5,000.
Okay, I thought you just said we had an available balance of
So
30.
we have budgeted 30,000. I'm sorry, I can clarify.
Okay.
We have budgeted, we do budget $30,000. We have available $25,000.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay.
Budget is 30.
So just to clarify, so each, when we're setting, the council sets the budget or, whatever for the year, we set aside a certain amount of money for like contingency for these types of projects.
Correct.
Got it, okay,
And that number's been chiseled down since I've been here. So
got it. So in other words, the money that we would need for this isn't gonna impact our like operating budget or anything like that beyond what we budget for. Okay. Other questions?
Just to be very clear, so we have 25,000 available and we're talking about 4,300. Right?
4,800.
Yeah, okay, so that'll get us down to close to 20-ish. Okay. Just, I like the numbers.
Yep.
So this is not negative.
Yep, thank you for that clarification. Anybody else? Okay, and so this is over the course of a week, like a $1.2 million project. We've only had to dip into we sort of were off about $4,000, $5,000. So that's sort of where we landed.
So one of the things we did, this was with the ARPA funding.
Yeah.
And part of the restrictions with the ARPA funding and with the regulations is that any money that wasn't allocated to a project or encumbered on a project at the end of last year would be basically essentially forfeited back to the US Treasury. So we had to be under contract with a purchase order. And we did not have a project contingency because if we had it on a contingency, like most of our projects will put a 10% contingency on. But if we had any funds that were left over at the end, that would go back to the US Treasury and it wouldn't be allocated to other projects. So we had made the decision at the time to take the rest of the money that was left in the ARPA funds and make sure that it was all set off into other projects. So we did this with a $0 contingency, which is not our typical practice. So we had made some adjustments, and you'll see I listed some of the change orders. In order to, when things came up that we had to finance, we did changes to the project scope. DPW did a lot of the work. They took some stuff out of the budget to make the numbers work. And at the end of the day, we had just a little bit of money left after we had all the credits put in. But we hadn't accounted for putting the flooring back in, into the budget. So DPW wanted to purchase the flooring. We go just a little bit over, but we're not returning any money back to the US Treasury. And then to compensate for that, DPW would be installing it rather than the contractor, which is a cost savings. So that seemed like the most efficient way to use all of the money that we had that was allocated through ARPA and then still get all of the features that we had wanted.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for helping to manage that and oversee the project. And thanks to DPW for all their work on it. Definitely appreciate making sure that we got to use the full amount of our funding that we had and didn't risk sending that back. So thank you. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adopt the resolution outlined in agenda item 8.1 regarding the supplemental appropriation for $4,816.23. So moved. Moved by Councilor Wells. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Councilor Beebe. We'll do, since we're hybrid tonight, we'll do a roll call vote. Councilor Beebe.
Aye.
Councilor Wells. Aye. Councilor Buckler.
Aye.
Councilor Graney.
Aye.
Councilor Bisa.
Aye.
Councilor Shea.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well, so that passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that brings us to agenda item 8.2, discussion of town council mission statement and implement plan to set council goals and identify possible objectives and activities. Before we dive into this, I just want to set out sort of what the procedure will be on this. So we're gonna discuss the vision and the mission statement and the goals tonight. But we won't make a motion to adopt any goals or anything at this meeting. So that way, any changes we decide tonight can be made, and those can be circulated prior to our next meeting, so everyone can have sort of the final version at our next meeting when we're voting on it. So with that, I'll let Brian, if you have anything you want to say to introduce it, or we can.
Sure, yeah, sure. Thanks. So the mission statement and the vision statement are entirely your council's, yours, and if you'd like to change it, you can. I don't think it's changed in a while. The council goals, in your packet, you'll see the for Brett and Rini, that you can see the final council goals that we did in June of July of 25. That was at the last time review, the previous council goals there, and then a narrative on each goal, basically. When I came here, I took it over for the council chair to kind of do the lion's share of the research behind the council goals. But the council goals themselves are entirely yours to set, and we set our actions and our mission to accomplish or assist you in accomplishing those goals as much as possible. So best of luck to you, and if you have any questions, I'm here to help you if in any way that I can.
Just one other thing I want to note too, that we can get into it. I had sent it to Councilor Shea, and it's also in that packet. I had sort of tried to simplify some of the goals, or just because there's a lot there from our last council, especially with all the good information from the town manager. So I did draft up some things that are on pages 22 and 23 of the packet. If you'd like to reference that, just trying to make one off what's there, but just trying to simplify them. Before we get into it, I'm thinking it might make for an easier, more productive conversation if we suspend the rules just for purposes of agenda item 8.2, just to allow for a little bit more of a natural conversation and collaboration. So there's a motion to suspend the rules for agenda item 8.2, and then they would be reinstated back once we move on to the next agenda. Moved by Councilor Butler, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Graney. Again, hybrid, so we'll do a roll call vote. And just to be clear, so this is just to allow for easier conversation, not so much stringent Robert rules. And actually, I guess I should say, is there any discussion before I go to a vote?
Chris, can you just repeat that again? I couldn't hear what this vote is for.
Yeah, this is to just suspend our rules, like Robert's rules, for purposes of the discussion of the goals. I think we had done this the last time just to allow for more sort of free flowing discussion, not so.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
Sure. Any other discussion on this? Okay. So we'll do roll call. Councilor Beebe.
Aye.
Councilor Wells.
Aye.
Councilor Butler.
Aye.
Councilor Graney.
Aye.
Councilor Bisson.
Aye.
Councilor Shea.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. So that passes, and our rules are suspended for purposes of the vision and goals and mission statement. So I guess before we get into the goals, I will draw our attention to the vision and mission statements. I think as the town manager mentioned, these have been in place for quite a number of years, and have largely remained the same. They're sort of our guiding principles that we can kind of then base our goals off of. But I just wanted to open it up if anyone had any questions, concerns, or suggested changes to the, I guess we'll start with either the vision statement or the mission statement. This is on page 8 of the packet, in case anyone's any of the public reading mission statements. I don't personally have anything that I feel strongly about changing, but obviously open to it if anybody else does.
I think we changed a couple words last year, but substantively the same as it's been for God knows how long.
Yeah, I think that's right. If I'm remembering right, I think Lisa Hancock had provided us some reference. It had been around for years before her. So if there's no suggested changes to either of those things, we can move on to the goals, but, Councilor Shay, are you good? On the vision initiative, okay.
Yeah, we did, as Councilor Bucker pointed out, last year we tweaked it a little bit, and I think we're all pretty happy with it at that time.
I agree. Okay, so we can move on to a discussion of goals. So we have both what the council had from last term, and like I mentioned, also just sort of like I cut out sort of the italicized information that was information from the town manager, and I moved some things around and made some tweaks. That's page 22 and 23, so it's obviously they're much shorter. So I don't know if you want to talk about things starting there or how people want to handle it. We can start based on the old goals as well. These were just ideas to consider. I guess, okay, so we'll go through these item by item, but I guess I'm just looking to see if people wanting to start from the draft that I sent out, or do we want to start from what we had from the last year?
Just because the draft that you put out, it kind of omits the commentary from the town manager as well as, did you remove some of the goals that have already been met?
Yeah, so there were, thank you for that.
Some items had gone stale.
Correct.
Yeah.
And he has removed, though, I think a good way to do it, Chair, would be to go through your list. And if you need referencing back to what the old goal was, we can flip back fairly easily.
Yeah.
In the interest of time, there's no need to go through one of my old reports. Yours, for the record, I went through it, yours, item by item, and went back. And I'm very satisfied with the goals you set forth and have no additional recommendations or deletions.
Thank you, Brian. And so thank you for the question. So with one, I just tried to remove a lot of the commentary. I also, there were things that had gone stale, like goals related to ARPA and things like that have already been accomplished. And then, I tried to simplify things, so some of the wording's different. Just trying to make it as straightforward as possible, but obviously we can make any changes to those things that we want. But unless there's any objection, I can just start us off. So if we're starting on page 22, so the first goal, so there's sort of, mirrors what we had previously done in bold and with the number that's like kind of the overarching goal, and then there's some sub either tasks or things we can do to sort of try to achieve the overall goal. So I'll start us off with one, which is provide efficient and high quality services in a fiscally responsible way. I'll just read down the stuff one thing, and I guess we can talk. So to make data-driven decisions and utilize capital improvement plan to ensure town resources are used most effectively, save taxpayer money by prioritizing strong fiscal policies, support efforts to attract business, explore regional services to find cost savings, and maintain and continue succession planning. So I'll open it up for any feedback that anybody wants to give or suggested changes.
Yeah, I like the succinctness of this. And I just want to say that the idea of the strategic plan would be great if we had a spare 80 to 100 grand to throw at it. But I agree with the town manager's assessment that given the cost of such plans, having been involved in a couple of POCDs, that I think we can move forward without spending the tax dollars. So I agree with his assessment there. I think you had reallocated some of the subcategories, right? Into other headings.
Mhm.
So this is intended to just reflect the services and fiscal management of the town for item 1, right?
That's great. Yeah. Yeah, there's a few instances where I had just popped something into like under a different goal where I felt like it fit better there. Again, just my perspective, but obviously open to everyone. I feel like it's easier for the council to focus on, like a relatively defined universe of goals and not like there was a lot. There's always been a lot. There's a lot of things we're trying to do. So I just tried to make it as streamlined as we could. So thank you. And to Councilor Beebe's point, that is one of the things that I removed from the prior goals, which was to develop a strategic plan, and but that's pretty costly, so that's why. But obviously, to that change or any others. Councilor Reese?
Can you maybe expand a little bit on maintaining continuous succession planning? Who are we talking about there?
Sure.
So we're a small town and, it's, you know, I don't have 10 people in fiscal if Yola were to leave, but I can start looking at 1 or 2 people, in each department that we can start developing, for training. We have a lot of those efforts on. We've seen some modest turnover that, has led to great opportunity, and in every case, in my estimation, I don't know, council may differ, the plan that I had for succession, each one has worked out fantastically. We are no longer promoting based on it's your turn and you've been here the longest. It's based on leadership, it's based on caring. Always caring is first, and then leadership and problem solving. Each time we've posted, we've done well. But at the same time, each of the directors has to identify if, you know, they were to get hit by a meteor tomorrow, you know, what is the plan for emergency succession and then long-term succession. And during part of the evaluation process, we bring them in. How long are you going to be here? Is one of the first questions that I ask. And then, okay, based on that, you know, how do you see succession moving forward? In some departments, like Megan has no staff. And there's no, you know, there's relatively no succession planning. However, Megan was an admin here in town. And she did tinker around with grants and she left, but we identified her when our grants person left, that she had she had 0 experience outside of the little grants she's had here. But she had all the skill sets that we needed and we brought her back, and she's just an assassin in there. And so succession planning for us is just a constant eye on every single department on what we would do if someone leaves, that we wouldn't be just out of business. So and there's some that are more critical than others, some that if they left, I would faint leave too. But you know, it's just how it is.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I know in the last term, like the big focus was sort of on using Hancock leaving and sort of onboarding a new finance director. But I think, you know, the idea that in general, the town staff should be thinking about that is always a good thing. So we would end up in a sort of.
And there's funding involved too, because like with Lisa, we wanted a good, we're just gonna go goodbye, Lisa, and now you'll let you start today. There's an overlap. And that overlap is not budgeted. And as we look, you know, we have a big director that's going to retire without putting it out there publicly. It will, though, during the budget process, we will likely look for just a wee bit of overlap, as the person that's likely going to succeed that person could possibly be here already. But there might be some need in case for just a little bit of overlap moving forward. So sometimes we do. Like we came to, I think we did do the ARPA, we might even ARPA funded the overlap last time. So I might come to you and say, there's somebody's leaving. It's impactful. We need to budget. So that's the only real budget issue here. But when a director leaves or somebody leaves, I love attrition. I love the gap in time. I love the acting, and I love the lesser salary in regards to saving money for the town.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
So are we good with I mean, these are very, like I said, they're very succinct, but succession planning is implied, right? That it's town departmental succession planning, and you're good with the phrasing the way that it is?
Well, I am also succession planning for, let's say, the historic district, if they were to leave, and a chair coming in there, or the PCC.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of.
So just broad based succession planning. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I really appreciate the overlap, having worked with various state departments where there's no overlap and it can be chaotic. Very, very much think it's worth our while to do that.
Thank you.
No comments here. Each person. Good. One. Okay. We're good. We can go on to 2. And Joe, just speak up if I'm missing you or anything. So 2 is strengthen public safety. So again, some of these are pulled from a few different places that we previously had. Some are added collecting baseline resident state trooper public safety data, encourage resident state trooper involvement in the community, emphasize community safety, which includes supporting the Board of Education and increasing school safety, enhance traffic safety throughout town to reduce the number of traffic accidents.
I do have a question about C,
Sure.
the including supporting the Board of Education and increasing school safety, which I know we've already made steps towards that. My understanding was that is going to be transferred to the Board of Ed to manage that financially anyway. So I'm just not clear, are we continuing some sort of a town-sponsored safety officer situation? Is that what we're implying here? I don't know.
Sure, no, it's a good question. So, the ongoing thing, trying to figure out basically an SRO for, this, is it this fiscal year, Brian, or there's like sort of like
The remainder of this fiscal year.
Yep.
And that's what the
that's currently,
we're gonna shoulder.
yeah,
I thought that was, covered.
that, nothing else has been.
By MOA, the typically the board comes up with that. That being said, I'm looking at an outside, some pie in the sky idea, but it has some serious validity in regards to funding down the road, which I don't really want to go into further at this point. Talk to you offline.
So, about Councilor, to be clear, so no council decisions have been made beyond that, right, this fiscal year thing as far as financial commitments or anything like that. So, this is my proposal of wanting to, sort of view it all as like community, how do we make Tolland overall as safe as we can make it? And so I just saw that as like one avenue of ensuring overall community safety. But
There could be capital to care in there. Anytime, typically Dr. Willett has the safety thing, I'm typically always gonna green light it. Be it improvements to the radios, be it blocking doors, vestibules, man traps, and we are currently looking at the blue light stations that you see on your larger campuses that just provide a feeling of safety, but have obviously functionality. He's looking at them for at least one at the high school, and I'd like to put one near our Athens Adventure, and somewhere central in Crandall's as well, as it provides safety, and it also provides that blue light, provides the feeling of safety as well. So it's not just operational in regards to paying for it. There's also capital to be considered in there as part of our 5-year plan.
yeah, thanks for that reminder. I know like last term, if I'm remembering right, I think Chief Lytle, it was to be installed like the vestibule, or there were some infrastructure changes maybe that they talked about doing.
Nearly on the elevator fire.
Oh, there might be that too. I don't remember. I don't. we don't wanna get-
The entrance to TIS. For
Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
Was enhanced, and I believe TMS needs some entrance work as well. That might already be in the plan. I don't have it in front of me,
No.
but just understand in regards to these goals, there's also a capital aspect on top operation.
So, but just to be clear, when we're talking about, like, just going back to C, and emphasizing community safety, supporting the Board of Ed, it's not just fiscal. Right, you just don't throw money at the problem either, right? So I mean, it's our responsibility to support the Board of Ed, right, to help make sure that our children, right, our most vulnerable residents are safe. So I mean, that's how I think I'm interpreting this, and and to Brian's point, I mean, there is economic actually value that's going to be input. Public safety goes beyond economics. So
That's a good point. And just to provide, or just that will apply to all of this. As you saw with the goals from last year, can't remember if it's twice a year, once a year, whatever it is. The town manager will come to us with sort of an update on how we're doing on goals. And so, just any number of things, any number of things that we could talk about, right, to support any one of these things. And so one, right, like for C, it could be whatever, like we put a new door in somewhere that was needed for, or we, whatever it is, whether it's a sort or otherwise. So, it's intended to encompass a bunch of things. So
But I also won't put it in there. Who's paying for it? You know, this is more of a goal.
Yeah.
Orientated thing, you know, we want an SRO. That's the goal.
Yep.
We want a new, partner targeting, schools, those sort of things. So, typically not deep into the funding. This is more philosophical. What we want to do.
Right.
Thank you.
Like the Connecticut state trooper data.
Right, right. So like with any of these things, right, with any particular thing, right, we still have to, just like anything else, so come before council, we would have that debate, we would have those votes. And like the residential, it's been an ongoing thing, right? And so not all of these things are always within our control, but these are just sort of like guides.
Okay, appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure, no, thank you for the question. Anything else on 2? Okay. 3, enhance accessibility and quality of life for Tolland residents. A, continue to advocate for solutions to address pandemic wells, including emphasizing the importance of state leadership on this issue. B, moving toward completing all foundation repairs. C, build a sidewalk on the town green. D, continue to identify and address accessibility in public spaces throughout town. E, enhance services and mental health support for residents. F, spotlight community events to encourage residents to utilize existing activities within town. And G, collaborate with the recreation director and recreation advisory board to expand recreation programming. You guys are making it too easy. Anything? No, it's fine.
These are long-term goals that we have carrying on from
That is
last
true.
term.
That
Right.
is true.
What's the history behind the crumbling foundation repair? Is it a project that has a scope?
Yeah, so this is a carryover that we've had certainly from last term, and I'm sure before that. And so obviously there's the crumbling foundation issue has impacted Tolland hard, and it's sort of other towns in our region. So I just sort of tried to. So we've been doing that for years, trying to get them up to speed. And I think we're at a point now, Brian might be able to correct me, where the number of like new homes that are going on to the list needing foundation repairs is.
Shuffle the deck on me a little bit. So trying to find it. The main thing is, and I was actually addressed it in my town manager's report, is that we encourage the state to continue to fund CFSIC, which is the insurance company basically that was made to cover the crumbling foundations. There at CCM, I'd heard there was possibly plans of sunsetting that whole program down the road. So it's, I don't know, the way, nothing against, if you want to word it that way, that's fine. I almost think the way that it was worded, and I can't find it now in the old one, is not a bad way to keep it doing. It was like continue to support that. If you want, I can have Jason write a great way to.
Page 14.
Thank you.
I'm council to advocate on crumbling foundation issues.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. And yeah, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. The only reason I just sort of tried to, so we now have like 2 sort of what I view as like similar issues. They're not the same, but like we have contaminated wells, we have crumbling foundations. So I don't care how we word really either of them. I was just, given how long the crumbling foundation has been ongoing, I was just sort of trying to just update it all. But if you're more comfortable with how it was phrased, that's also fine.
Are you saying we're beyond everything? And then you're saying.
But yeah,
If someone doesn't want to get their foundation repaired, there's nothing town council can do about that.
that's fair.
Yeah, we live with
And
it.
you're saying that there might be, I definitely don't want to get rid of the fund, or I wouldn't want them to sunset the fund, so that's
I
required.
bet they are. That's just a guess, but I bet they are. It may be it 3 or 4 years down the road. So that would be us encouraging residents, if you have a crumbling foundation and would like to do it through this program, and you might want to, kick it a little bit.
And potential advocacy of trying to get this thing not to sunset.
Always,
Right.
no, always.
That.
Yeah, Jason's very active, and so is the former town manager. We're still active in that program.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a good thing to keep on there as well. Back about 10, 12 years ago, Steve Werbner was, when this was all coming to light, Steve Werbner was the town manager at the time. And he noted that some of the sewer piping and runoff piping that is throughout the town could also be impacted from the same mineral that's in the concrete, so that we could see, you know, pipes underneath bridges collapsing. So there's still a concern there that some of those pipes were made from that quarry. So the town also has an interest in that, not only the residents, but, you know, our high school, our middle school, you know, we had the issue, but we could also have some infrastructure issues as well. So, and then the town should also maintain a voice for its residents to make sure that the state still understands that, you know, if this is an issue in our town, it's going to last for the next 10 to 20 years plus, and that, you know, they should try to maintain that fund for as long as possible. So we could act very much as the voice for our residents.
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I agree with you, and good point about the potential impact on even some infrastructure in town as well. So, sorry,
I was just agreeing, I would agree with that, what Joe said. I mean, there are people who find out, you know, didn't find out before, and, you know, you think, oh, I'm, you know, 20 years in, I'm good. And then, you know, 2 years later, oh, whoops, it's my whole situation is, so I don't think we should be saying completing.
Okay.
Like that part feels kind of
yeah, no,
ending.
yeah, no, that's completely fair.
And, you know, a lot of people don't have money to pay for the balance of what would happen if they fix their foundation. So they're just waiting for something, whatever that might be. I don't know. But, you know, the crumbling foundations, that insurance, it pays for just doing the foundation. It doesn't pay for any of the other stuff, and you got to move out. And there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that just don't have $200,000 or whatever it might be. And I feel like it should be in there to try to support them, to keep that going.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you're saying about that. So if people are more comfortable with how it was worded previously, which on page 14 is town council to advocate for foundation issues, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with different wording.
I would
It
prefer
would say
Yeah.
continue supporting.
Yeah.
Residents.
Continue supporting residents on crumbling foundation issues, or continue to supporting residents and advocating.
And advocating, yeah.
town too, right? If we have.
Because
Yep.
my only concern was the way it was written, it makes it sound like the town's gonna fix your foundation. We don't wanna get in the foundation business.
It's a little bit alarming to hear. I mean, I know that there's always pressure about committing the funding to this particular endeavor, right? This was a long time, like you said, Joe. Steve Warbner was like one of the first people that jumped on top of this and really was at the point of trying to get a system in place. So the insurance company, I happened to run into the gentleman who leads that insurance. That it's a temporary insurance. It's not a company, but it's
like a fund, yeah.
right? And he was in town, and I happened to start chatting with him, and he said they're just now this last summer have achieved more than 50%. So they've just tipped over the 50% of expected repairs. So we've still got a long way to go statewide, and which means that Tolland is like the epicenter. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with all of that. Definitely think it's a still high priority, so I definitely want to keep that. So let me just read it back just to make sure that I've captured what we're talking about. So town council to continue to support and advocate for crumbling foundation issues. Okay, that's fine. I'll make that change. What else on 3? Seeing none, I'll move to 4. Promote clarity and acceptability of all town council business to encourage greater community involvement. Sub A, improve budget process to make it more understandable to the public and provide greater opportunities for dialogue between the council residents. And B, explore different methods of communicating council business to the community. So I'll just say that, you know, the idea here from my perspective is just not everybody has time to watch all of, our meetings every single week or, twice a month. And so just trying to find, as councils, I think always do try to find ways to make things accessible to them, understandable to them. It's like the budget, right? You can either read like a 500-page budget document or, maybe there's a way we can try to convey things to them more succinctly. Those are just sort of some ideas.
Can I just say, Chair, this is a good year for that. Yolita kind of went through the motions last year, learning the ropes. She has some ideas.
Yep.
And she comes from a few different places to encourage that. She wants to. I'm sure she'll be pushing me to push some different things
That's great.
along the lines of what you're saying here.
Yes, Yolita basically sort of jumped in like right as we were starting the budget process that had sort of already been going with Lisa. So she did an excellent job sort of getting us through all that, but that's great to hear that she has, some ideas too. Anything on four?
Agree with both of them.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. 5, set the tone for civil discourse in Tolland. A, work in a respectful and bipartisan manner on council business. B, review and develop policies and activities to support inclusivity and unity for a safe and welcoming environment for all town residents. C, foster a positive community facilitated through civic engagement, town-sponsored events, etc. So this one kind of speaks for itself. Just trying to set a good tone for the town. Kind of thing. Makes sense.
This works. I think the event on Saturday was a sterling example of a great event, well run and well attended, and was a fabulous community gathering. So
yeah,
anytime we can do more of that, it's wonderful.
Awesome. Okay, so unless there's anything else, which feel free to jump in. Where we would go from here is that I will make the edits we talked about, which is mostly just 3B. I'll make those edits to the document. I will send it around. I'll send it to Councilor Shea to distribute to Councilor Vita, and then I'll, Councilor Butler to our caucus. Just to avoid any issues with communication that way. And then we'll vote on them at our next council meeting.
Sure.
Is that right? That could be,
The next review is in June.
okay. So then,
Council goals we do twice a year.
okay. So we'll vote to adopt the goals at our next meeting based on the revised version that goes out. And then, like Ryan said, in June, we'll sort of get our update on how we're doing. Anything else before we move on to the next agenda item? Okay, so we will move on to agenda item 8.3, the rule procedure back in place. So this is appointments to vacancies on various municipal boards and commissions. Jen or Joe, anything to say on this one?
I have nothing. I know Joe reached out to one person. I'm not sure if they're listed tonight though.
We have one.
Yeah, we had one person interested in. I'm trying to blank right now. It's the which commission it was. Which one was it? Oh, the Wetlands Commission. Right. Yep.
Yeah, there was a sudden
We did not speak to either one of these individuals, but they seem very qualified.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
I'll say on 8.3A, reappointments to planning and zoning commission alternate. So we this is something that's handled by like the town committees respectively, and we have a letter from the Tolland Board of Town Committee that would like to that's endorsing Brian Mead for their alternate position of planning and zoning. So obviously typically we honor that. And so that's that one. And then I did not know this. We have a town historian, Peter Palmer. So much appreciated for that.
Yeah.
Any
What's the role of the town historian?
History.
Geez, thanks for that.
If you'd like, we can have him in as an agenda. After we thank him for his vast knowledge.
He's been around for a long time.
He has, yes.
Great. Yeah, so he's already been sitting. Oh, no, okay, sorry. So he's already been serving, also that's great. Appreciate his continued interest in that. And so I will entertain a motion to reappoint the two individuals outlined in agenda item 8.3.
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Graney. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Bisa. Any discussion?
Thanks to them for serving.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate them. Councilor Shea,
Aye.
Councilor Beebe,
Aye.
Councilor Wells,
Aye.
Councilor Buckler,
Aye.
Councilor Graney.
Aye.
Councilor Bisa.
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, so that passes unanimously. There is no other business. And so that brings us to the report of the town manager. Right.
Thank you. I want to first thank the Tolland Library Foundation for approving funding to put up a new digital display in our basically right below us in the hallway. They were there for years. Obviously, there's been that box where admin staff will periodically hang a piece of paper that no one sees. So we're going to move it to a digital display. The digital display will have obviously library business, town business, as well as there's been a request from to photographers around town, like a conservation corps, for pictures from our beautiful landscapes and conservation areas throughout town. That'll run through that digital display as well. There is is it yearly or monthly? The fee. There's a yearly fee for a program that we'll use that allows us to do it remotely, and it has some other features as well. And it'll be mainly controlled or entirely controlled by town manager staff with input from the library. They're the ones who paid for it. And the Veterans Commission has asked for that as well. I thank DPW for running the electric and fiber or whatever the technology wire they ran through there to make this possible. I already said the Carmeling Foundation. I asked Jason today, look into CFSIC and whether they are going to sunset. If they do, I will obviously keep everyone posted. I told you how I met with Dr. Willett regarding the SRO, amongst some other things. We talked about the upcoming referendum in October of 26 regarding a new turf field and a new roof, and some of the talking points and data that we'll need to provide to make that successful. I want to thank Human Services and the Connecticut State Troopers for their continuing toy drive, and the Tolland Volunteer Fire Department, Chief Lytle, all the volunteer staff, Mr. Johnson, Santa Claus, everyone involved in that effort to help get toys to the town. We already have a room full. The fire department, I'm sure, is full as well. We are moving into the new payroll system next week. We do expect some bumps. It's called iSolve. We got the hardware today. It's being installed for DPW. There's a constant training that's been going on to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. You saw some of this is a good opportunity when looking at the council goals in regards to traffic safety. You saw kind of what we do when there's a trouble spot in town. We don't typically have to reach out to UConn, but they've been a great partner. And the head of that whole UConn, traffic safety area is Dr. Jackson. He's a town resident. I know him from previous careers. He's been super helpful to me for a better part of a decade here. So they are a great resource, and they did a thorough job for us. And I thank Trooper Brennan for his data dive that he did beyond that. And John was Chief Lytle was also doing some of the data dive in regards to that as well. So I thank them. You have the results. I want to thank DPW for putting that rink up. Other towns' rinks aren't up. We got ours up for early December cold here, which is rare. I'm very thankful. There was a bunch of people on it tonight already. Couldn't be happier. Families, in regards to your council goals, that's one of the things. And I was against the rink. I didn't want it, but it's worked out fantastic. I want to thank council for the parade. It's fantastic that you guys marched. I'm sorry that I wasn't there. I'm sorry that I wasn't there. I will make every effort to be there next year. I want to thank DPW, Public Safety, the CERT team, the high school choir and PCC for their efforts in making it such a successful event. We've identified some improvements that we can do next year already. I met with Trish Byam, the chair of the PCC. The ramp was absolute success. I thank council for allowing us to move the funding to purchase that from the Canvas Fund. I did talk to Dr. Willett today about how darn great the choral and band have been and improved over the last couple of years. It's stunning. There's been some staff movement that have allowed really these bands to get out there and help us in our town events. At the upcoming the cemetery event for the veterans, they'll be there. They'll be playing taps. They are now at every town event, and it was not easy for us. We didn't have that 2 years ago, and now we do. And they're even looking at doing a marching band, which that I know that the St. Patrick's Day committee has already reached out and asked if we have a marching band. They'd love to have them. So great things to Dr. Willett and to the board for supporting the music program. I know that it's so important for kids, and I believe that's all I have for now.
Questions from town manager?
Brian, the intersection of Bruce and Anderson, is that something that the results of that we can put in place soon, or?
Oh, the recommendations?
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, without having them right in front of me was all. It's going to take some funding. You know, you saw like the reflective signs, and are we going to paint the roads in December? No.
Yeah.
You know, so but when they're painting in the fall, we'll get those. You know what they meant, the white bars,
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
We'll get that stuff done. That'll be implemented as soon as we can.
Okay.
That was driven by was our local traffic authority that actually contacted you guys. So he's the guy that's going to get out the paintbrush and paint the road. So
Okay, thank you.
And we're also gonna have an upcoming agenda just to talk about.
Traffic safety,
Talk
yeah.
a little bit more about
Yeah.
this, just to have it out there, because it's got a number of pretty tough accidents, around town, especially there, but really appreciate all the.
Well, then that'll come into something else I'm working on too with the fatalities on some of the main roads and ways to help slow down traffic there. Yes, it'll all fold in perfectly.
Perfect. And thank you for all the work that, you and town staff have already done, but to try to make our streets safer. Other questions? Good, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
The only thing, Brian, so the turf field and the new roof will get, I assume something from the Board of Ed or Dr. Willett, sort of, like reports or whatever indicating why or that we need these things. Is that sort of?
Absolutely. If they want it to pass, yep. And that was the conversation Dr. Willett and I had today. We had discussed it briefly. So yeah, he's in the liability if we don't, and different sorts of things along with it.
Great, thank you. Anything else? Okay, so that brings us to the adoption of minutes. Is there a motion to adopt the November 25th, 2025 regular meeting minutes as outlined in the packet?
So moved.
Moved by Councilor Beebe. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Greeny. Is there any discussion or amendments to the minutes or edits, I should say?
No, thank you, Lisa.
Always, thank you. Okay, roll call vote. Councilor Shea,
Aye.
Councilor Beebe,
Aye.
Councilor Well,
Aye.
Councilor Buckler, Councilor Greeny,
Aye.
Councilor Bisa,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well, so that passes unanimously. Correspondence to council, Councilor Greeny.
Yes, November 26th, we received a message from a Crossing Drive resident reporting the deteriorating pavement on the street, questioning when the town plans to repave the street to address the issue. On December 4th, we received a message from a Ryan Road resident and member of the Blight Committee with her thoughts on the importance of town councilors participating in liaison roles and her concern that it may discourage volunteerism on town committees. Councilor Wells responded to the resident. December 6th, we received a message from a Goose Lane resident sharing a third-party article on ways towns can increase electric vehicle charging locations. And today we received a mass email message from a nonprofit organization offering us to participate in a survey on international issues.
Squarely within our.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So that brings us to the chairperson's report, just a couple of things. mostly to echo what Brian already said, the torchlight parade and tree lighting was fantastic. Thank you to everyone, all the counselors who came to that. It's always a great event. And obviously, excellent job by the fire department, the PTC, STIRT, and everyone for doing a fantastic job coordinating that. I think it's been a year or two now that the parade has been combined with the tree lighting. I think that's been a great idea, great success. So that was fun and greatly appreciate all the work that goes into that. Obviously, Santa's going around town, so be on the lookout for Santa. Thank you to the fire department for that, all that they do for that. And then one other Santa-related item, I think it's the rec department that is facilitating letters to Santa, and I think you can drop any letters off for your children at like some mailboxes at the post office, library, and rec department. Oh, and menorah lighting. Thank you. And so fortunate that the town manager has brought for a couple of years now.
Every year, yes, it's a great relationship with the Jewish Federation of Greater Hartford prior to coming here, and we have a menorah lighting on the 16th, I believe, 16th at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Yes, I reached out, to the rabbi and Shabbat. They've been fantastic about cooking. It was only every 3 or 4 years they come here, and they've agreed to come every year. So please come. It's a lot of fun. So it's something to see.
Yeah, I'll just put the plug there. It's a very cool event. I had never been to such a thing, and the rabbi gets up in like a truck, lift, and throws down chocolate coins to all the kids. So that's always fun. I don't know if there will be this year. There's like a fire thriller person.
Yeah.
Surprise, sure.
Surprise, yeah.
But it's a fun time.
There's surprises.
And I think I saw their refreshments afterwards at the Arts Center. Yeah. So thank you for that. Lots of fun. So that brings us to item 14, communications and petitions from council persons.
Nothing else for me tonight.
Awesome. Well, not awesome. I always love to hear what this is. Very, very appreciating. Always love hearing from all of you. Okay, so that brings us to item 15, public list of participation on any subject in the jurisdiction of the council with a 2-minute limit. I will start in the room.
Back at Mary Aiden's line there. So this Thursday, there's a Tolland High School chorus and band concert for the chamber choir and jazz band called Winter Pops. It'll be in the Tolland High School cafeteria. I don't actually know the time. It's between like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, probably like 6 or 6:30. At the high school, I think it's free. Don't like quote me on that. But like it'd be great to see you guys there. And every year it's a great concert. It's holiday themed, and it kind of shows the expertise of the musicians in town, or I guess the high school musicians. The jazz band and chamber choir are like the higher level band and chorus at the high school. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for that reminder about the chamber choir and jazz band concert Thursday. Should be great. I'll go online. If you'd like to participate, please raise your Zoom hand. Seeing that, I'll go back to the room. George.
I always find something to say.
Yeah, what do you do with that?
George Fishing Game Road. One thing on the foundation problems, there's still gonna be a lot of them. It went from 85 to 50. And I don't think they have a real clue as to how many, because they deteriorate at different rates. My front 2 walls, where the water came, you could see through. The back 2 walls look brand new. So it all depends, water level, where in the quarry the stone came from and all that stuff. And I still haven't replaced my driveway yet, so by the time I'm done, it's gonna cost me about $50,000 out of pocket. So to your point, there's a lot of people that probably just don't have it. I mean, lost a sidewalk, lost shrubbery, lost a deck, rebuilt a deck, all that was on me, things like that. The other one is, I wish there was a better way that the council school board, zoning board, and all the other ones talk to each other. It doesn't appear to happen at all. I was at the zoning board last night because they're trying to build 5 houses on Route 31 Mile Hill. All well and good, just 18 acres there, but he's trying to squeeze it in like 5 acres, 5.5 acres. He's asking for a variance to put them on 0.9 of an acre. So all the houses are gonna be close to the road, right on the main road, 4th block. Which is neither here nor there. The problem is, with all the problems that we have as a town, we're paying for all these contaminated wells. Well, the house at the very end of that field is my aunt's old house. And the gentleman there that was there last night, he had to have his well redug and it still came up to mud. So he had a fight a number of years ago, like we did with the gentleman that came to all the meetings for the last year. They had, this gentleman actually was fighting with the state and he had to have a water purification system put in. So my point is, I don't know why we're not going, that's the idea of the 2-acre lots, I think, it was to spread this stuff out. Yeah, these people, their wells are gonna be so close to the road. And when the state and all their wisdom widened the road and tried to level the hills and valleys, what they did was that whole field, both of those fields, all the water runs off of the state road. So what you're gonna have in a number of years, and the zoning board or whoever, I don't know if Brian needs to talk to the zoning board, somebody needs to talk to them to let them know that we have a water problem in town. And you're just looking to create 4 more contaminated wells. Because all the state water is gonna run right off that road, right into those fields. So at least push the houses back. I mean, there's 18 acres. If he wants to put in 4 or 5 houses, fine. Put 2 acres apiece, put 2 along the road and long driveways and 2 behind it, something like that. So somehow we have to get where all these different groups and boards and people need to talk to each other so that the zoning board isn't creating a problem 5 years down the road for the town council and stuff. I'd like to see more cooperation with the different boards.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
And thank you, always looking for ways to sort of increase that dialogue. Part of the reason for the liaisons, right, Mary, who has served on planning and zoning for a long time, is our liaison there. But agreed, like we can always look for ways to try to improve that communication and explore having, or asking for them to come here, or vice versa, just trying to figure out that dialogue. Thanks, George. I'll go online. I'll go back to the room one more time, but actually I don't think there's any more public left to participate. So last call for online. Seeing none, we will close public listed participation. That brings us to adjournment. Any objection to adjournment? We are adjourned at 8:18 p.m.